Retirement is trying to figure out how to write yourself a check when you no longer are employed.
The ability to fund retirement is getting a lot harder for a nation as a whole because a lot of countries, to my mind, seem not really prepared to deal with the ageing population that they're going to face down the tracks.
The retirement landscape in Australia is a real interesting and at the same time challenging environment. We've accumulated an asset pot that's just, in some respects, the envy of the Western world.
Australia has this reputation throughout the world as being this very distant, isolated country where strange creatures have evolved. We have things like platypuses, which baffled scientists for a long time. And I actually see the financial system and the landscape we have here as being quite similar to that.
We have this predominantly defined contribution system that is in many ways an experimental ground for everybody else to look at.
The genesis was the Superannuation Accord in 1992 when Paul Keating worked with the unions to create the superannuation environment by creating the superannuation guarantee. It started out as, I think back then, 2% of your wages and it's grown now to 9.5%, ostensibly growing to 12%.
You have all the incentives in the world, but the majority of people will not save for retirement until it's almost too late in their 50s. So superannuation in Australia is compulsory. It was made compulsory to overcome that challenge.
I am definitely enthusiastic about the super program. It allows me to save money for the future, and I don't think that I would have saved the same amount of money if I was going to do it myself.
Just turned 55. I can retire when I'm 60. I didn't really think that was going to be possible. There won't be buckets of money, but there'll be enough money to do the things that I love doing.
Even though we have this terrific compulsory system in Australia, it's not yet a fully mature system. The current generation of retirees are retiring without a full working life of having access to those compulsory benefits.
And then obviously the next issue is then longevity. Even if you've saved what you deem to be enough, we're all living longer.
A lot of people are just planning to life expectancy, which might be 84, might be 85, 86, but they're not thinking about the fact that, say, 1 in 3 of them are going to live past 90 or 95.
There's a lot of people that go back to the 70s and 80s, and it could be included myself, thinking, gee, I was never educated on this all the way up till this stage, and then I've only had the last 15 years where I've had to really put my foot down, and I don't know whether it's enough to get me through.
If people are looking at their reports in the short term and they see their money go backwards as it did in 2009, there's an emotional reaction to that.
Account balance has dropped dramatically, but for most of those people, if they remained invested, they're now back ahead of where they would have otherwise been, and the long-term impact on their retirement incomes is less than they might have thought.
I'm just an average working sort of bloke, It does help with people that can tell you exactly what is available to you. So luckily I got into a great superannuation scheme with good people that look after you.
Nobody really commands the retirement space. There's nobody out there in particular markets saying, we are the retirement provider.
One of the key reasons why we've partnered with Milliman is really to help us deliver strategies to market, which people can use to tailor their investment portfolios to their own needs.
The basis of the decisions or the approaches that we take, they're not based on a gut feeling or a trading mentality. They're based on mathematical approaches to understanding these problems and figuring out more predictable solutions.
I don't think a lot of people understand how to invest. So having an advisor come in to tell you what's happening with your super is a great benefit. You do have the ability to manage your own super. Personally, I'd rather leave that with the experts.